The series in Boston had it all. Ejections, home runs, and, oh yes, rain, and lots of it. But after a 2-2 split, the O's are turning the page. Up next, another AL East rival, the Toronto Blue Jays. It's the O's and Jays at the Rogers Center next on MASN. It's the Orioles on MASN from Toronto, Ontario. It's the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Tonight it is game one of a three-game series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Here are the Orioles against yet another AL East opponent. And, of course, to win the division this year, you must play well within the division. In fact, it is paramount. You look at the schedule, more than half the games every AL East team will play is in the division. Now, the schedule maker this year did not do any of the five teams any favors. Look at the April schedules for this division. The Orioles will play 19 games in the AL East. So far, so good. They have gone 7-6. Blue Jays and Tampa also 19 games. The Red Sox have 16 games within the division in April, and the Yankees have 15 games. So early on, it is very, very important to get off to a good start. And Mike Bordick, it is true, you maybe can't win a division in April, but you certainly can dig yourself a hole that might be tough to get out of.
Yeah, you'd love to get off to a good start in April, considering the fact that everybody plays each other right now. You could really create some separation. But here in this early going, first 2 weeks of the season, looks like teams are really trying to find themselves. A lot of parity going on. There have been some key injuries. The Orioles no different, losing J.J. Hardy and Wieters. Now Jonathan Scope as well. So it's, kind of finding the depth of the organization, trying to pull everything together. The Orioles played so well in the division last year. That's why they walked away with it. I mean, overall, very good record, but more importantly, on the road, the 24-14 record, they only lost 2 series. So it's very important that they play well on the road, and it would be nice if they could really start here the end of this road trip against Toronto and start creating a little bit of distance. Might make things a little bit better for this team as they go through the summer months.
And the Orioles do enjoy playing here at Rogers Center. And Mike, several hitters in the lineup not only enjoy hitting here, but enjoy facing Blue Jays pitching.
Yeah, especially Chris Davis. Take a look at the career numbers at Toronto. 342, 10 home runs, 26 RBI. He is a force. Of course, Caleb Joseph, he did some good things last year, but 3 for 5 with a home run, a couple RBIs against Burley. Of course, that's who they're facing tonight. And Adam Jones, my, oh my, has he been red hot. In his career, 412, 2 home runs, and 7 RBI against Burley. But he's coming off a 9-game hitting streak where he's put up incredible numbers. So they're looking to ride the coattails of Adam Jones, get him going again. He started that 9-game hitting streak against Mark Burley, so he's looking to do that again. They're going to be focusing on Davis and Jones, I think, in the series. Look for Flaherty, look for Caleb Joseph, Snyder, Machado, Delman Young. Those guys are the ones that are going to be picking it up for this team.
So the rest of the lineup. It's the Orioles and the Blue Jays. Bud Norris goes to his first win. Lineups at first pitch are next. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By your local Mercedes dealership. And by Royal Farms. Check out our current specials by going to royalfarms.com today. It was a rainy day in Toronto, Ontario today, but a dome here. The roof is closed, so no problem for baseball. Let's take a look at the Orioles starting lineup brought to you by Southwest. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Cabrera, Pierce at first, and Davis DHing with Adam Jones in that cleanup spot. Real good numbers, especially the power numbers here at Rogers Center. Delman Young will be in left, and Travis Snyder, Manny Machado, Caleb Joseph, and Ryan Flaherty at second base, bats ninth.
And let's take a look at Mark Burley's pitch arsenal this season. Fastball 51% of the time. He's got the four-seamer, two-seamer, and a cutter. And he can add and subtract with all those. Now, nothing overpowering, ranges from 77 to 86 miles an hour. Breaking ball is a big curveball. The changeup, that's his go-to pitch, 37% of the time. 2 starts this year, perfect start this season, 2-0 with a 3.75 earned run average, 12 innings of work. See the 15 hits now, he'll give up his hits, but he knows how to minimize the damage. We saw that in the last series when the Orioles faced Burley, and he came away with that win. There were a couple opportunities the Orioles had, but a little over-aggressive on him, and that's what he tries to do. Get hitters to expand the zone, and he pitches to soft contact.
Now 36 years old, he'll go to work against Everth Cabrera. Switch hitter batting from the right side, and there's a pitch that misses the plate, and it's 1-0. We are underway at Rogers Center. Cabrera continues to play every day at shortstop with J.J. Hardy on the disabled list. There's a bouncer to short. Jose Reyes will sling it over to first, and then a couple of pitches for 1 out as Cabrera's retired.
Take a look at this Blue Jays defense here. Reyes, broken rib there, still at shortstop. Pilar, Pompey, and Batista in the outfield. Reyes and Goins up the middle. Donaldson and Encarnacion on the corners, and Martin behind the plate. Now Reyes has a cracked rib, but he decided he can play. Goins playing second base because Devin Travis, he got hit in the ribs, so he's still a little sore there.
Steve Pearce back in the lineup. Did not play the final 2 games in Boston. And he'll take a strike. Buck is trying to balance getting players in and out. Of course, Jimmy Paredes joined the team and hitting all 3 games he played in, but Jimmy is on the bench early on here tonight.
Yeah, Paredes making an immediate impact. He was on a rehab assignment. Only 4 ABs. This rehab assignment came in and, boy, tore it up at Fenway Park.
Maybe that tells you rehab assignments are maybe a bit overrated.
Right.
Players will tell you that. Of course, he did have a lot of work in the extended spring, so he was seen live pitching. Buck Showalter does a real good job keeping everybody involved. Call strike 3. Pierce thought it was low, and Mark Carlson rings him up.
Yeah, you really don't want to help Mark Burley out if that plate is expanded by the umpire. Now take a look at the Nissan pitch track, primarily staying away. This pitch fading down and appears out of the zone by the pitch track. See how Steve Pearce likes it. Oh, not at all. Not at all. See this fastball just diving away. Hoping that Pearce will reach out and swing at it, but he gets the called 3rd strike.
So Pearce back to the bench. Chris Davis takes ball 1. Shift on against him. Chris at 239 with a couple of home runs. He is 4 for 15 on the road trip. And a weak roller to first, right there behind the bag. Encarnacion, he'll touch up, and the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the first. O's can't score, but Norris and the O's head to the field at Toronto. Fans here at Rogers Center hoping for a road win. Opening game of a 3-game series. Let's get a look at that Blue Jays lineup. Jose Reyes in that leadoff spot, then Josh Donaldson, who has always enjoyed hitting well against the Orioles his first year with the Jays. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Navarro DHing. Then Martin, Pompey, Pilar, and Goins for Toronto.
Now let's take a look at Bud Norris's pitch arsenal this season. That fastball 61% of the time, breaking ball 29%, the change 10%. Now the problems that Bud's been having is because of that fastball command. He is a power pitcher, but he's been missing with that power fastball, hence that 12.38 earned run average. 8 punch-outs, 3 walks for Bud Norris. He has given up the 12 hits, and he really struggled in his first start against the Blue Jays, lasting only 3+ innings, gave up 7 hits and 8 runs. We're going to bounce back here.
Well, there's a good sign. Fastball in the inner part of the plate. And you'll see Jose Reyes, who is a switch hitter. He is batting right-handed against Bud Norris because of that cracked rib that Mike alluded to. It does not hurt when he swings from this side of the plate, but it does from the other. So to stay in the lineup, he'll just bat right-handed, which many hitters do against knuckleball pitchers, but not against power pitchers like Bud.
Yeah, pretty interesting play to have Reyes hit right-handed. Now you see his numbers, 583, a couple RBIs, so he loves hitting against Baltimore. But it's pretty risky. I mean, this is an impact guy. He's struggled with injuries since he's been with the Blue Jays. They need him to stay healthy, and I think it's a risk here early on because it's not just swinging that you could potentially damage those ribs. This guy dives, he steals bases, he plays shortstop, a very demanding position. So taking a chance running him out there.
Weak bouncer to first. There's Pierce, and he'll get it to Bud, a 3-pitch out. Well, Bud Norris against Toronto in his career, pretty good numbers, which made that start for the home opener very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, he has dealt in his career against the Jays. See the 5 starts in 2014, 4-0 record, just 6 earned runs given up to a 1.78 earned run average. But that first start, very uncharacteristic for Bud. You know, there was some talk that in spring training spent too much time working on his off-speed pitches and forgot about that fastball command. He didn't have the best spring training either. His last start, though, his second start of the season, pitched much better, going 5 innings, only giving up the 3 runs. So he's looking to just continually improve and make himself better because they need him in this rotation.
Josh Donaldson a called strike, so each hitter not only a called strike, Mike, inside corner fastball strikes.
Yeah, really good. Very impressive here. Working in and out. I mean, Caleb Joseph gets a good feel for his starting pitchers early on and what they're holding. And here it looks like Bud got a good fastball.
Left center field, chasing it back is Delman Young. Out there on the warning track, he will make the catch. So the ballpark holds it. Fans got into it. Sounded good off the bat, but Delman Young runs it down for the out.
Yeah, Bud Norris getting away with one there. Caleb up setting up away, and that ball leaked back over. Donaldson put a pretty good swing on it. Take a look at who's hot and who's not. Ryan Flaherty, boy, he was raking up there at Fenway Park. 3 straight multi-hit games. Jose Bautista, just 6 hits this season, but a couple of those have been for some damage, 3 home runs.
And our American Standard, who's hot, who's not, celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. So Bud Norris, strike 1 to each of the first 3 batters. And this is one of those dangerous spots, Mike, that teams don't like to see. Here the Orioles come into Toronto, and Bautista's in a slump.
Right.
He's too good of a hitter. You know, eventually he's going to break out.
Yeah, Bautista and Encarnacion not doing too well here recently, so the Orioles have to definitely be careful with them. They've done some damage in the past to this team. Have to make quality pitches, and here with the 2 outs, you know, don't just give in and throw it over the plate. Pitch them tough.
Well, Bautista and Encarnacion, who bat 3-4 in this lineup, coming into tonight's game, they are combined 6 for their last 53.
Not what the Blue Jays wanted from the heart of this order. Of course, they bolstered it getting Donaldson.
Strike 3 called, inside corner fastball. What a start for Bud Norris. 3 up, 3 down in the first. We'll head to the second at Rogers Center. No score. with a 3-up, 3-down inning. As Burley and Bednar settling in the opener of the series. Toronto, they're looking to score first, Mike. They're 1-5 when their opponent scores less. They don't like coming from behind. They like getting up early and then piling on.
Yeah, I think most teams do. Orioles very similar to that. Take a look at Adam Jones' season versus Toronto. That 700 batting average, 2 home runs and the 5 RBIs, and he has just been sizzling hot here lately. Monday came out of Boston without a hit, but had a 9-game hitting streak going. Great numbers against Burley as well.
Adam is first in the league in RBIs, and look at an off-speed pitch low. 16 RBIs on the year. Mark Burley in search of his 3rd win. And foul back. Only twice before has Burley won his first 3 starts. He's trying to do that tonight. Once was last year with Toronto, and the other was way back in 2002 at the White Sox, and in each of those years he won his first 4 starts. So he's trying to go 3-0 in 3 starts to begin 2015. And Adam rips it to center field in on a Pompey, and it falls for a base hit. So the red-hot Adam Jones continues scorching. He is 7 for his last 17 on the trip. Let's get a look at our Maryland Live Casino inside the numbers. Top hitters against left-handed batters on the O's.
Well, there you go. Adam Jones picked up another hit, 750 batting average. Ryan Flaherty, 500. Joseph, 500. Travis Snyder's off to a great start. And, of course, Delman Young, 364 this year, but a career 300 hitter against the lefties. Adam Jones is now 7 for 9 against lefties and continues his hot streak against Burley.
For Delman, it's his 2nd start on the road trip. And a blue foul. That'll be back in the crowd. He has 4 hits, however, over his last 3 starts. And the amazing thing about Delman, of all the hitters on the Orioles, inactivity does not seem to bother him. He might sit 4 days in a row and then go up and hit 4-line drives.
Well, he's a great pro. He knows how to prepare himself. The days he's not playing, he'll be in the weight room. He'll do his running. He'll be in the batting cage doing soft toss, preparing for maybe a bullpen appearance because he has so much success as a pinch hitter, you know, coming off the bench. And Buck Showalter uses him very well that way. But this guy really busted out last year. A huge contributor to the Orioles' success last year. Buck Showalter finding ways to get his bat into the lineup.
He has 21 career hits against Burley, including 4 home runs. Another reason why he's in there tonight. This ball's ripped to right. Bautista is there. It hangs for him. And he has it for the out. And one away here in the Orioles' 2nd. Well, Maryland Lottery's contestant of the game tonight is Robert Retberg of Towson. He has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run hit in the game tonight. Play baseball buck scratch-offs and win up to $50,000. Or enter non-winning tickets for a chance to be the contestant of the game. Visit mdlottery.com/baseball. Travis Snyder, one of 3 left-handed batters in the lineup tonight.
A bit of a homecoming for Travis here. Came up with the Blue Jays at a very young age of 20 years old. Still a very young player with some big league experience, and that's why Buck Showalter brought him in here.
That is a foul ball. Just faded foul down the line.
Pretty good pass right there by Snyder. You saw Delman Young driving the ball the other way. Now Snyder backing it up and shooting it down the line. If you want to have success off Burley, you have to let that ball travel. If you show over aggressiveness, he will expose you in a heartbeat. Great job of adding and subtracting on his pitches. So you got to stay back, let the ball get deep.
Well, they have a sort of a shift on against Snyder. Reyes is on the shortstop side, but he's playing up the middle. I'm not surprised that Travis tried to poke it past Donaldson, who's well wide of the bag at 3rd. 2-1 on him. And a bouncer foul past Wayne Kirby and down the line. Now, as the night goes on, we're going to talk about this new turf here. You may have just noticed there as that ball was bouncing down the line. The black stuff that bounces up, that's the filler in this turf. And there are a lot of complaints and comments and what the heck is going on as players get used to this. One thing we know, it is playing very, very slowly. And a foul straight down at the plate.
Yeah, really slow. New turf. They have to, that filler is little pieces of black rubber and it has to settle in before it becomes more of a true playing surface. And I was watching batting practice today, and guys are whistling balls into the gap, and they weren't even making it out to the wall. So it really slows the ball down.
And got him off speed. Travis Snyder down on strikes and 2 away.
Well, Burley's not afraid to throw anything at any time. Look at the pitch here. Good movement as it runs off the plate. Down and away. It looks like a beach ball coming in, but so good at moving the baseball around. I mean, this guy, 16-year veteran, he knows what he's doing out there.
Check swing, pitch down and in, did not go. Mike DeMuro said he checked in time. Manny is due to break out. He's had some of those unlucky at-bats where he's hit the ball hard and there's a fielder standing there waiting to catch it.
Yeah, in Boston he really put some good at-bats together, just tough luck hitting, and you hope it's one of those things where he doesn't try harder. You know, has a good swing, hitting line drives at people. You don't have to do anything different. You know, they will eventually drop in.
Good eye, works the count to 3-0. Now, Burley does not walk a lot of batters, Mike, nor does he strike out a lot of batters. He's all about 10-pitch innings, put it in play, let me go sit down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a contact pitcher. He wants guys to put it in play.
Swinging on 3-0 to Donaldson. They'll force Jones at second base, and that erases the leadoff hit. So a single, a man left. Mid-second, no score.
Mother in Century, Florida. I know she's watching the game. 87 years old today. God bless you, Mom.
Boy, what a nice gesture for Buck to say happy birthday to his mom, Lena, who watches every game. And Buck made a point of telling all the reporters in his pregame session with the media, it's my mom's birthday. I want everybody to know that.
Yeah, well,
happy birthday to Lena Showalter watching tonight in Florida.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lena. Buck thinks so highly of players' parents and their upbringing and the character of players that obviously his family's had a huge impact on him. So a nice gesture there by Buck Showalter.
And moms are special. Yeah, everybody's mom is special. And Buck, it's good to see. So here we go to the second. 3 up, 3 down for Bud in the first. Encarnacion will lead off. And it's a little low. Came in slider that time. Mentioned Encarnacion and Bautista scuffling. Encarnacion just 3 for his last 26.
Yeah, he's had some problems against the Orioles recently as well.
Tomahawks this to center field, chasing Jones back, and that ball is gone. Straight away center field for a home run, and it's a 1-0 Blue Jays lead.
So much for the problems with the Orioles. Straight away center for Encarnacion, and they need his bat to start heating up. Their offense has been inconsistent. I'd like to see that power out of the heart of this lineup.
Well, it's his first home run against the Orioles since April 22nd of last year. The Birds did a real good job containing him. And again, Bautista and Encarnacion, they're just too good And consistent track records. You know, eventually they're going to break out, and Encarnacion just did. So 1-0 Jays. Burley happy. Here's Diana Navarro, who's DHing. And a strike on the outside corner.
I'll take a look at Encarnacion's swing. He got a slider first pitch for a ball, but he hammers the elevated fastball straight away center field. And all you see is Adam Jones's number on that one.
Just a little bit low. Diana Navarro during spring training asked to be traded. Blue Jays signed Russell Martin to be the everyday catcher to a long-term deal on the free agent market. But Navarro's getting quite a few at-bats as a DH, and then he'll catch to give Martin a day off.
Well, a real good hitter. Does some damage up there. I think he's really good for the middle of this order. It mixes things up a little bit, and obviously can still catch. We can spell Martin on his off days.
Now in his 12th season in the big leagues. Weak pop foul. Machado in the shift will have no shot, but it's back in the crowd anyway. Well, Bud Norris, his third start on the year, 0-1 with that very high ERA, but his pitch count so far very good. He's coming off a career high 15 wins in 2014, went 15-8. Overthrows on that, and it's 2-2 on Navarro.
A little quick on the slider right there. Caleb Joseph wanting him to bury it down and in. On that front shoulder flies, that arm can't catch up. See the Nissan pitch track, the fifth pitch. Slider just up and away.
2-2 on Navarro. A little bit high, ball 3. Good velocity for Bud here, 94 on that fastball.
Yeah, and he's made some good pitches here in the early going with his fastball, especially into righties. Working on that fastball command.
Full count on Navarro. This ball's hit well to right field. That chases Snyder back, and he reaches up, and it's off his glove. And in play, Navarro will hustle towards second base. Snyder overruns the ball. Navarro's going to try for third. Here's the throw from Flaherty. He is safe at third base as the throw slowed down on that turf from Flaherty over to Machado. So that should be a double and an error, and the Blue Jays have a runner at third.
You're exactly right. That ball did slow down as it bounced into Manny Machado. Thought it was going to be plenty in time. Looks like he slides in there. Maybe a review here. Manny has to come off the bag just a little bit. Put that tag down. The home plate umpire right on top of that play. Good look right here. And he swipes the tag.
Buck is standing on the field waiting for the word if he should ask for an appeal. Now he's going to walk out. Mark Carlson is the home plate umpire tonight.
Good job by Carlson to get down there to third base. You see his positioning there right behind Manny Machado, so really can't get a better look than that. He's right on top of the play, and he just sees Navarro's toe get in there, touch that bag before Machado's glove slaps him on the back of the leg.
And that is in fact a double and an error on Travis Snyder, so the sudden string of errors continues for the Orioles. 3 in the game yesterday. They now have committed an error in 4 consecutive games. 6 errors total in those 4 games. Here's Russell Martin, and that misses inside. Mike, and watching that throw, when the Orioles would come in here in the past with the old turf, which was so hard, it was almost like concrete. Players would use that turf to get the bounce and have it skip. It looks to me they're going to have to go away from that and maybe try to get that throw all the way on the fly. That looked like it slowed down and cost the Orioles the bag.
Yeah, I agree with you. In talking to a lot of players today, some on the Blue Jays side, they said even line drives that are hit out in the field, they check up and they just slow down, almost like a golf ball on a green when a golfer spins the ball back. So the teams have to be aware of that. Understand maybe they're going to have to throw the ball in the air.
2-0 on Martin. And a foul off the shin guard of the umpire, Carlson. So Bud being tested early on here. The home run for the 1-0 lead. Now runner at third and none down. Already Already 12 earned runs charged to Bud on the year in just 9 innings of work. Martinez hitting 3 in a row. That snapped an 0 for 20 drought for the Blue Jays catcher. Down and away, ball 3.
A breaking ball right there from Bud Norris. Martin, a very patient hitter, sees a lot of pitches in his at bats. He does have power. Already 2 home runs this season. There are a few Blue Jays players struggling, but it's still a pretty productive offense. You know, even with the low batting averages, a lot of guys can do some damage.
Fastball's right there, 3-2. Yeah, despite their struggles, they are 6th in the league in team batting at 246 as a club. She got Reyes and Donaldson in large part responsible for that. The top 2 hitters both batting better than 300. So a big pitch here for Bud, 3-2 with a runner at third and nobody down. Ball 4 down and in. Well, earlier today, the Orioles, for his first trip up here, did come out to check and test this turf.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about it in the news. So Bobby Dickerson wanted to bring his infield out just to get a feel for it, how it's bouncing. It does appear to be a little bit more bouncy, but a slower turf than they're used to. I think a couple of years this turf will settle in and become a lot quicker. Right now, very slow. It's spongy with so much of that, the little pieces of rubber flakes under there, and you saw the bounces that come off there. Chris Davis a hard time handling a couple.
Buck said he called former Oriole Nick Markakis today. The Braves were just here over the weekend to ask him about the turf, and he got a scouting report about the turf from Nick.
Yeah, well, it's good. You really have to find out about the field you're going to, the elements, if there are any quirky things about it. I think one of the things you see on highlights, and even the balls that have been hit, the pieces of rubber that bounce up off the turf could potentially get in players' eyes.
1-0 on Dalton Pompey, switch hitter batting left. And that's down and away, ball 2. So Norris is creating a bigger situation for himself here. Of course, the error on Snyder didn't help, but now walk, and he's 2-0 on Pompey. 17 pitches already in this inning. Pompey, the young outfielder, 22 years old. He is still classified as a rookie. Did get a September call-up last year, and he fouls it back.
Blue Jays trusting on a lot of young players, a lot of rookies on this roster right now, and they understand that they're going to have to teach them here at the major league level and hope that a lot of the veterans really pick up some of that slack as far as teaching players on the field, reminding them. And talking to DeMarlo Hale, the Blue Jays bench coach, he said they're all very open and listening and follow the lead of the veterans. So he's having a lot of fun coaching the younger players. John Gibbons and DeMarlo right beside him.
John Gibbons in his 2nd tour as Blue Jays manager, his 3rd season this time around. Another throw, a little late. Well, the 2-1 count, but suspicious that Russell Martin may be put in motion here. He'd like to keep him as close as he can to possibly get a double play. The O's will certainly take that, even if Navarro scores from third, to get 2 outs on 1 swing. When he foul back, 2-2.
A couple good fastballs away right there, 95 miles an hour, a little two-seam movement as it runs off the plate. That's how you get back in the count. So confident pitches. See the pitch track, first fastball in, and then 3 pitches away with good movement.
1st and 3rd, nobody down, a run in for Toronto. 2-2 on Dalton Pompey. Upstairs, ball 3.
Caleb wanting that fastball up and in, more so to maybe induce a swing, a little broken bat, put it in play softly. That one up a little bit too high.
Navarro's at 3rd, Martin at 1st, and nobody out. And a payoff pitch coming here to Dalton Pompey. Upstairs, ball 4. He's walked back-to-back batters, and the bases are loaded. So a team that is struggling at home, they are 2-5 on this current 10-game homestand, 3 games to go against the Orioles. And here is Dave Wallace out for a chat with Bud Norris here in the second inning.
Well, Dave Wallace obviously going to tell him to settle down a little bit, finish out in front. That release point a little bit high, and that typically means a pitcher's being a little bit too quick with the front. And they just got to settle down. A lot of times you'll see pitchers that if they're missing with their fastball up in the zone or up and away, they'll throw a couple sliders to make sure they're finishing out in front. Here in this situation with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Well, here is Kevin Pillar batting 8th. Ryan Goins behind him. How about the 8 and 9 batters in the Blue Jays lineup early on this year?
Yeah, really doing some damage. See that batting average at 305. That's second. The OPS 860 first. Home runs, RBIs. I mean, really a lot of production out of the bottom of this lineup. Pillar and Devin Travis, who isn't playing in this game, has been a big part of that as well.
Bud misses high to Pillar, 1-0. Pillar 1 for his last 15. He has a big chance here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Already a big moment in this game.
One thing, another thing that I did notice, and actually talking to manager John Gibbons before the game about this turf, is he loves the fact that it's slow right now to help his pitchers trust the defense, put the ball in play, and that's exactly what Bud's got to do. Make a quality pitch, let him put it in play, and trust the defense behind you. You got Manny Machado, the Platinum Glover, over there at third base. Cabrera's been playing great. Flaherty up the middle. Let these guys field the ball, get some outs.
Pillar at 240 on the year. You see his numbers with the bases loaded. Now a regular for Toronto. And a good pitch there. That tailed away from the swing, 1-2.
Yeah, real nice movement. Cutting that fastball, almost a slider type pitch. More of the lateral movement at 87 miles an hour. Just off the outside corner.
So 1-2 on Pillar. And he got him a big out for Bud Norris, who Kevin Pillar chases back-to-back pitches out of the strike zone, and a good call by Caleb Joseph to go back to that pitch.
Well, he throws it so hard. You got to gear up to catch up to 95 miles an hour. Here, 89. You see him get on the side of the baseball. And this one, with 89 miles an hour, still some good tilt as it goes right off the end of the bat into Caleb's glove for a huge first out.
Well, here is Ryan Goins, the number 9 batter, playing in just his 5th game for Toronto. Double play can get Bud out of the inning. And a strike right there, 95 on the fastball.
Bud looking to minimize the damage here. A little bit of trouble. Obviously wears on a pitcher when you're in these kind of jams, these high leverage situations. Just execute your pitches.
Just inside, 1-1. Orioles in Bud's first 2 starts not very generous with the support. 3.38 run support average for Bud. So the combination of the O's not scoring and Bud not pitching well. 0-1 with a ERA over 12. Ground ball, base hit right field. Charging in on it is Snyder. Here's Navarro to score. Martin trying to score. The throw home is high, gets beyond him, and both other runners move up. Not a good decision there by Travis Snyder, missing the cutoff man. That allowed Goins to get into scoring position as well at second base.
Well, here's another example of this turf. Now the ground ball makes it through the infield. It finds the hole, but it's dying as it gets to the outfield. So Snyder's really got to close in. And that's why when you're third base coach, be aware of that. So he puts him in motion here, and Snyder looks up and tries to get him at the plate, but airmails it. Everybody advances. More trouble for the Orioles. Pretty aggressive running there by the Blue Jays.
And Travis Snyder has been charged with his second error in this inning, allowing Goins to get to second base. Score might have said second on the throw, but he gave an error. Still only 1 down, 2 in scoring position. Reyes up with the infield drawn in. 1-0 on Reyes, who bounced out his first at bat. Ground ball to short. Runners coming. Here's the throw home from Cabrera, and out at the plate. Safe at the plate is the call. Pompey is safe. The tag was there. It looked like he was out. And Mark Carlson said that Joseph missed the tag.
Caleb in a good position, but Pompey must have got the hand over the glove. He drops the glove in front of the plate. Chopper there to Cabrera. Strong throw in. When he puts it down, Pompey reaching around that outside corner. Caleb giving him that lane. Thinks that hand gets in there before Caleb's glove. Tags him pretty close. Everything's so tight in there.
It looked like Caleb may have tagged the hand before Pompey reached out, and that's what Buck Showalter wants to know.
Yeah, it really did look like that. I think you have to take a look. Okay, Buck questioning a little bit. There you go. You see the slide. Caleb
right
drops
there.
It down. Yeah, might have caught the back of his hand when he throws the glove down. Boom.
Yeah, right.
Looks
Right
like
there. Looks like he got his
hand
hand.
and wrist.
And Buck is going to ask for Brian Gorman, the crew chief, and Mark Carlson to look at this. It's a big, big play here. It would be 4-0 if this call is not overturned, and still only one out in the inning.
Yeah, really, obviously, Buck and Caleb hoping that they overturn this call. Caleb in a pretty good position.
Right
there. Yeah.
Looks like he's got him.
It's tough on catchers now with giving them lanes and trying to I guess preserve their careers without completely blocking the plate. But once you contain that baseball, you can slide in there and block it completely. Maybe bringing that left knee down there and sliding it in front of the plate will eliminate these head-first slides in the home and guys trying to reach around with their hand and actually possibly being safe.
I will say Mark Carlson got himself in perfect position to view that. The question is, did he miss in the speed of the play, the glove hitting the hand as Pompey slid by? This is one of those, Mike, that could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing when an umpire makes a call like that, it's got to be conclusive. I mean, obviously really obvious that he's out for them to overturn it. If not, inconclusive evidence will remain safe.
Well, it's taken quite a while, so they must be indifferent about it. You know, it looks like they're getting the message. And he is safe. So the call is upheld. It's 4-0 Toronto. So that'll be a fielder's choice RBI for Reyes. Goins ends up at third. Reyes at first. Still only one out, and no more challenges for Buck. That's a good challenge there, though, because that could have gone either way.
And you want to eliminate these runs early if you can. You have to take a chance like that.
So here is Josh Donaldson. Runner goes, pitch is taken, throw through by Caleb, is into center field, and here's another run to score. 3 errors in the inning, and it's 5-0 Toronto.
Well, you don't see this too often from the Orioles. Right now, the defense letting them down a bit, leading to a lot of unearned runs. Caleb's ball sailing up the line, and Flaherty trying to get over there to keep it in the infield, but just skipping away. Reyes with that great speed easily into third base.
You know, the official scorer has thought better of the throw home by Snyder. He has taken the second error of Snyder away. He has instead said single to second on the throw. But the throw home still got the runner to second base. And a high fly ball to right field. That's deep enough to get another run in. Maybe more. That ball is off the wall and in play. Snyder went back on it, and the ball hit the wall. He fires in. That's a double for Donaldson. and it is 6-0 Toronto.
Snyder having some trouble out there in right field right now, misjudging that one, thinking he was going to make a great play, take a home run away, but all ended up going off the wall. Donaldson, a nice piece of hitting. He's looking to just get a ball elevated so he can get a sacrifice fly. Snyder trying to take the home run away, ends up going halfway off the fence. So, not a great read right there by Snyder. Blue Jays really putting it on right now here in the second inning.
And there's still only one down. And here is Bautista as the Blue Jays have batted around. And Mike, you go back, and a big play was on the Goins base hit. Snyder throwing it over the plate and over the catcher Joseph's head. That allowed Goins to get to second base. The next batter hit a ground ball that may have been an inning-ending double play. Instead, the infield's drawn in, the play at the plate. Safe was the call on the appeal. And it's a bigger inning. And Brian Mattis beginning to get loose here in the second inning for the O's.
Well, the detail of the game, one of the most important things an outfielder has to do is hit the cutoff man. I mean, you can see at the end of the game, maybe if it's a winning run trying to score, but here in the second inning, hit the cutoff man, keep the double play in order.
There's a strike, 2-1. So it is 2 errors plus an overthrow against the Orioles defense, which suddenly is really struggling. 7 errors now in the last 4 games. Errors in 4 straight games. There's a fastball for a strike. 2-2.
Good fastball right there from Bud. Getting hit around a little bit. 46 pitches. To mix in some of those sliders at 33% right now, but he's got to stay focused. I mean, the Orioles have had great success in this park, so they can put up big numbers too. Try to keep your team in it.
Line to left field, in on it is Delman Young. He's got it for the out. And finally a second out recorded here in the second inning. Throw back behind Donaldson, who got back in. Two down now, and Donaldson at second base, and Edwin Encarnacion will bat for a second time. He led off this inning with a home run to straightaway center field.
I got to be careful here now. Got the open base, and there's a long way to go in this ball game, so be smart. Encarnacion, you said it, hit the home run in his last at bat.
Down and away for ball 1. A 6-run uprising. Pop up. Caleb Joseph will flip the mask. He has a play, and he's got it for the final out, and the inning finally comes to an end. With a big inning for Toronto, Birds come to bat in the third, down by 6. Sarasota, Florida, spring home of the Orioles, is also a destination for culinary adventure, from fresh local seafood to an eclectic array of world-class cuisine. Savor Sarasota Restaurant Week is June 1st through the 14th and now celebrating its 10th year. Visit savorsarasota.com. Sparse crowd here at Rogers Center, but the fans who did turn out to see their Jays happy with that 6-run bottom of the second. So now the Orioles have to go to work against a seasoned veteran and Mark Burley. Gets ahead of Joseph. 0-1. Flaherty on deck, then Everth Cabrera.
Caleb Joseph, the numbers against Toronto this season, but he's been swinging such a hot bat, seeing the ball well. Been very quiet in the box. Not a lot of movement in there. He's trusting his hands. He's shooting the ball all over the place right now, so good sign for Caleb Joseph.
And a good take. And Caleb's got a 6-game hitting streak going. He's got 10 hits in those 6 games. And overall, Mike, he's had only 2 hitless games. And he's got another base hit. And he leads off here in the 3rd with a base hit. So a 7-game hitting streak for Caleb Joseph. And of course, with the Orioles and their offense, they're never out of any game. You don't like to fall behind 6-0, but some pretty big numbers here from this team.
Yeah, let's take a look at their offensive numbers this season. That .272 batting average, ranking 6th in the major leagues, and powerhouse offensive team. Home runs 19, that's first. Percentage of runs by way of the home run at 48% is fourth. Slugging percentage, strikeouts are pretty high, but they led the league in home runs last year. I think their offensive approach this season has been very sound. I think they're making pitchers work. They're not getting themselves out early in counts. So, a benefit, I think, to Scott Coolbaugh, the new hitting coach, and obviously the abilities of these guys.
Ryan Flaherty's a hot hitter as he stands in.
Yeah, boy, did he tear it up at Fenway Park in 3 games at .545 average. Home run to straightaway center. Whistles one off the tin. Off the green monster there, playing in front of friends and family.
Looped foul down the 3rd base line. A long run for Donaldson. He won't get there and slides on the warning track. Donaldson getting accustomed to his new home ballpark. Of course, in Oakland, where he used to play, that he might have caught that. Well, that foul territory.
A lot of foul territory in Oakland.
But Burley allows his 2nd hit. Adam Jones led off the 2nd with a single but did not score. 1-2 on Flaherty. Nice block by Russell Martin.
The thing about Burley, he's not going to try to be too fine. He's going to stay aggressive in the zone, continue to mix up his locations and his speeds, but he's going to give you pitches to hit. Burley's been known to have big innings against him, and the Orioles in the past have had a lot of success.
This ball's towards the gap. Dalton Pompey, a long run, won't get there, and it bounces by him for a base hit. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Caleb Joseph being sent home by Bobby Dickerson. Here's the throw towards the plate. Not in time. Joseph slides in, and the Orioles get on the board. So 2 hot hitters in the Orioles lineup, Joseph and Flaherty combined, and it's a 6-1 game here in the 3rd.
Well, there you go, back-to-back, real good at bats. This pitch up and out over, and look at Flaherty staying on this ball, and he's a strong kid. He smokes it past Pompey. But take a look at Caleb Joseph hustling down the line. Bobby Dickerson got that arm going. This is an important run right now in this ball game. You don't want to be holding them there. Let's put some marks up. Got no outs. Runner in scoring position now. So many innings left to play.
Ball 1 to Everth Cabrera, who's in the leadoff spot tonight. Rounded out the shortstop, leading off the game. His job here, at a minimum, get Flaherty to 3rd. And a bouncer foul. Of course, Mark Burley, seasoned veteran. This is his 489th game and his 464th start. Here's a guy, Mike, who was a 38th round draft pick when he was drafted by the White Sox back in 1998. 1,138 players were selected ahead of him in that draft. And here he is now, all these years later, with 201 career wins.
Yeah, he's had a pretty impressive career. One of the most durable pitchers in the game.
Bouncer towards the middle. Goins back of the bag. Throws to first to get Cabrera, but a good job there by Everett. Ryan Flaherty goes to 3rd with 1 down. On Friday, the Orioles are back home. They'll begin a 3-game weekend series against the Red Sox. Now, don't miss the only weekend showdown in Oriole Park this summer. between these two longtime AL East rivals. Good seats still remain for each game of the series, but they won't last long. When Boston's in town for a weekend, those tickets go. So show your Birdland pride. Help us paint the ballpark orange. For your tickets, 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. A good spot for Steve Pearce, who's been scuffling a bit at the plate. Chance to get an RBI here.
Yeah, the infield back, they have a bit of a shift on right now. Nice to push another run across the plate. Put it in play, hard to the middle. Pick up a very important RBI.
Well, Steve is 4 for his last 34, and he has got 36 at-bats without an RBI. 36 straight at-bats. So he's due.
Yeah, he is due. He is. He gets a little worked up. Of course, the monster year last year.
Slow roller. Flaherty's coming. Donaldson plays a funny hop. Fires to first to get Pearce. The run does score. It's a 6-2 game. So Pearce gets the RBI. And again, that new turf, that looked like it took a turn on Donaldson there.
Yeah.
He was able to glove it and get the out, but the Birds get the run.
That kicked back a little bit when it hit the dirt. Nice job by Flaherty going on contact. Sees the ball down and off he goes. Picks up a big second run. Gets him a little bit closer. Here's shaking his head, but hey, need that RBI.
Chris Davis now. Outside corner called strike. Chris bounced out to first, his first at bat. This ball's hit towards right center field. Long run in for Bautista, won't get there, and gloves it, nearly bounced by him. So Davis is on with a hit, third hit in the inning for the Birds.
There you go. Keep plugging away, and Davis continues to have his success against the Blue Jays. Take a look at this bounce. Bautista, almost got up and over his head. They take note of that. Orioles have to take note of that. I know Adam Jones was out taking some balls and seeing how it's going to react. I think it's going to be interesting when it starts warming up and the roof is open, how this turf responds. Typically gets very bouncy.
Well, Adam Jones singled his first at bat. He had his 9-game hitting streak halted yesterday, but he now has hits in 10 of his last 11 games. And the other thing about Adam is he has been producing like multi-RBI games, so more than 2 RBIs in a game on the year. He already has 6 of them, 6 multi-RBI games, more than any player in Major League Baseball. Paul Goldschmidt of Arizona is leading in the National League.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. Now you think Adam Jones will settle in and do what he's done his whole career in the last 4 years. He's just been the epitome of consistency. Well, hitting about 280. Almost 25 to 30 home runs, driving in almost 100 runs every year. And boy, you look at him this year and you think, man, he's going to destroy everything he's been doing. It's nice to see him get off to a really good start.
This ball slicing towards right center field. Pompey a long run, diving try, and he didn't hold on. That's in play. Davis to third. He's being sent. Here's the throw home. They'll have a play. He is out. He is out at the plate, and that will end the inning. So it'll be a base hit for Jones, and the inning ends with Bobby Dickerson sending Davis to the plate.
Pompey, the nice effort. Ball kicks out of his glove, but look at the recovery. Gets up and makes a strong throw in. Good relay from Goins. Nail Davis at the plate.
Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By PNC for the achiever in you. And by Coons.com. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Rogers Center, right behind the Rogers Center, the Renaissance Hotel. A sparse crowd here tonight on this Tuesday night in Toronto. So Bud Norris will go back to work after a 10-batter second inning in which Toronto scored 6 runs. And a strike to Navarro.
Well, Bud's got to stay aggressive. Start of the game, had real good command of his fastball. Looked like he was going to be able to work it in and out. Stay there. Try to get deeper into this ball game. He's had some problems here in the early going. Hasn't gotten into the 6th yet.
51 pitches, 39 of which came in the second inning.
There's a good fastball there. Painting a couple on the outside corner, a couple pitches away. This would be a good time to try to ride one in there on the hands.
Center field, Adam Jones will make the shoestring catch. That ball dipping on him as Adam got to it. So one away here in the Toronto 3rd inning. Fans, the Orioles have joined Major League Baseball in honoring Jackie Robinson. They did so last week by having each player and coach wear Jackie's number 42 in the game last Wednesday night on Jackie Robinson Day. And now you can join in on the honor by bidding on these game-worn jerseys at Orioles.com/auction. Each jersey has been autographed by the player who wore it, and the proceeds will benefit the Baltimore Orioles Charitable Foundation and the Jackie Robinson Foundation. Bidding will close tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. So get online now and bid. Orioles.com/auction. Russell Martin drew a walk in the second inning. Walks have really hurt the Orioles on the year. And what those base runners then came around to do.
A nice changeup right there for Bud Norris. Really good pitcher's pitch. Nice job of laying off it by Martin. This is a guy that doesn't mind taking. Why not try to be aggressive and get ahead early, but once again falls behind just as he did in his first at bat.
Orioles starters have had a tough time this year getting deep in games. And there's a 4-pitch walk. There's the 3rd walk allowed by Bud Norris in this game. So run out base runner. Dave Wallace marking down some notes on the bench. And Mike, here's what we're talking about with walks. 15 walks coming into today, walking and then coming around the score allowed by the Orioles, 4th most in baseball. And you could add 2 more to that in this game tonight. 2 of the walks in the second inning. In fact, both walks in the second inning scored. So 17 runs coming in with a runner getting on via a walk.
Yeah, it's obviously one of those things that pitchers hate. I mean, players don't like it playing behind. It extends the game. Pitchers counts get up, and just giving your opponent free passes. Eventually, it's going to come around to hurt you, and it has this season for the Orioles. So stay aggressive in the zone. I mean, part of this team's philosophy was trusting the defense behind them. Now, yeah, they've had a little letdown here the past few games, but you can't get away from your plan. I mean, there's good gloves back there. Keep pounding the zone. You have to make quality pitches, but stay around the plate. Don't give them the free passes.
Pompey walked and scored his first at bat. And a strike on the inside corner. Off speed pitch.
Yeah, good change. A couple good change-ups from Bud Norris. It'll be such an effective pitch for him. I think in his whole career, he's primarily been a fastball slider pitcher. So when he came over to Baltimore and had to make some adjustments pitching in the East, he was more aggressive pitching inside and started to develop that change.
Rough start for Bud Norris. Buck Showalter saying before the game he has every confidence in Bud's ability. Of course, Buck, a manager who really goes with track records, and Norris has a very good track record. Pompey fights it off to stay alive at 1-2.
Well, Bud Norris is a great competitor. He loves to obviously compete against the other team, but against himself too. So he's, you know inside that he's churning a little bit. He wants to find that feel, that rhythm, that consistent release point with his fastball. Try to get this team back in the dugout, try to score some more runs as soon as possible.
That ball's ripped towards the corner in right field. Snyder's not going to get it. Bounces all the way to the wall. Heading to third is Russell Martin. He'll be held at third as Snyder got it back in quickly to Flaherty. So Pompey, despite being down on the count 1-2, rips a double. And it is second and third and one down for Toronto. And a good hold there by Luis Rivera as Snyder got that ball quickly to Flaherty.
Yeah, Caleb Joseph wanted the high fastball up and away, but down just a little bit too much. Why not try to waste a pitch up and out over the strike zone here? Pompey whistling down the right field line. See the runner Martin putting on the brakes. Back. Runners in scoring position. Second and third with just the one out.
Orioles will have to bring their infield in again. Here is Kevin Pillar, the number 8 batter. Still only one down.
Well, such an important key for starting pitchers is the ability to get ahead. They all have great stuff. Falling behind can hurt them. So get to the strike zone early, get ahead, and then start working the edges. Hope for chases. Exactly what Bud did to Pillar in his first at bat.
And there's a base hit for Pillar. Jones in on it quickly. Martin scores. Pompey coming to the plate. The throw not in time, and scooting into second base is Kevin Pillar. It is 8-2 now in favor of Toronto.
Well, just not executing as well as we've seen Bud in the past. His fastball stays over the plate. Pillar does what you're supposed to do with it. Drive it hard back through the middle. Plating 2 more Blue Jays. Bud showing that frustration.
And here comes Buck Showalter. And this will be a very short start for Bud Norris, going just 2 1/3 innings. And Brian Mattis will come on here in the third. So the Orioles got 2 back in the top half of this inning to get back in it. And the Blue Jays get him right back and chase Bud Norris.
Early exit in this Baltimore team. Most starts at less than 6 innings pitched. The Orioles leading the way with 10. Another unfortunate short outing for Bud Norris. He hasn't had one into the 6th inning this year. 2 1/3 on this start. 6 hits given up, 8 runs, 6 of them earned. 65 pitches thrown. It's time for the Jiffy Lube pitching change. It's time for a little relief for your car, too. Visit Jiffy Lube for regular oil changes and help prevent damage and wear to your engine. Jiffy Lube. Drive in today. Well, Brian Mattis now in. Take a look at his arsenal. Fastball 37%, that breaking ball 21%, and the changeup at 42%. Onto that quite often. He's had to face more right-handers, and that's his pitch against the righties. 4 games this year, 0-1 record. A good low earned run average of 2.08. He's 4 1/3 innings of work. He only has the 3 punch-outs and 5 walks. Now he's avoiding the right-handed hitters, it seems, pitching around them carefully.
Falls behind Ryan Goins, 2-0. Goins singled and drove in a couple of runs in the 2nd inning rally. So Bud Norris going 2 1/3. That is the shortest start by an Orioles starter this year. Ball 3, and it is kind of amazing, Mike. You know, you talk about now 10 games less than 6 innings pitched. It's 10 out of 14.
Yeah.
Today's game 14.
Yeah, it's been a struggle here, I think, in the early going to find their rhythm on the mound. You know, last year it took them a couple months to really establish that rhythm. They took off there at the beginning of June. So I'm not saying 2 months from now they're going to be right back where they were last year, but you know, this is a proven group of guys. You know, Buck talks about that track record all the time, so they will be there. It's just a matter of, you know, somebody's got to have a good start, and then you just pass the baton, follow each other's lead.
There's another base hit. Delman Young trying to cut it off. He will. A run will score. But on at first base with his 3rd RBI of the night is Ryan Goins.
Ryan Goins doesn't want to go back to the minor leagues. Didn't break with the team. Called up here, starting to swing the bat very well. Gets a fastball away, stays on it. Crisp line drive to left field to pick up another RBI on his 2nd single of the game.
Here is Jose Reyes. Check swing and appeal to first. He did not go.
Here's a look at the good changeup. Brian Mattis hoping he would have been aggressive. Nice job by holding up. Tough to double up. Take your chances. Work down in the zone. Try to get a ground ball here.
There's a strike. So the book now closed on Bud Norris, with Pilar scoring 2 1/3 innings, 9 earned runs. Despite the errors, those runs were earned because of what the batters did following those errors in that inning. No error was committed to allow a runner to reach, so all the runs were earned. High fly ball to left. Delman Young back on it. Still going back, and he's got it. Goins was all the way down to 2nd. He hustles back to 1st.
Pretty good pass by Reyes, getting all of it. Delman Young want to take his eyes off that one. Right back to the base of the wall. Nice play right there by Delman Young.
And you saw him chatting with some of the Blue Jays relievers who had some kind of a comment for him.
I'm going to get you later. That's what he said.
Here's Josh Donaldson with 2 outs now. Outside for ball 1. Brian Mattis well rested. He last worked Friday in Boston, allowed a run. The first and only run he's allowed on the year. The run he's allowed here in this inning was an inherited runner scoring. That ball is foul down the line.
Donaldson has really been swinging it for the Blue Jays. Up over 300 to 3 home runs on the year. Seems to be fitting in very nicely in this lineup.
Ryan Goins on at first, 2 for 2 with 3 ribbies. Donaldson doubled in a run his last at bat, hit it high off the wall in right field. Travis Snyder leaped but flat out missed it.
That's the over boogie right there. It's a little over aggressive on the jump, and ball almost hit him in the foot.
It's amazing what the Blue Jays have done to the Orioles. This is now the 4th game. You look back to that series in Baltimore that included the home opener. In their 2 wins, they scored 12 runs and 10 runs. And then the game the Orioles won, Ubaldo held them. No runs for him. They got 1 run in the game.
Yeah, it seems the way their season's gone this year. They either score a bunch, 5 or more, or it's very low scoring. Not a lot in the middle. 3, 4, 5 runs. And this offense can really put the numbers up, as we're seeing in this ball game. It takes good pitching to shut them down.
3-2 with 2 down. Goins will run, and it's outside, ball 4, and the inning continues. So Mattis has faced 3 batters since coming on. He's retired just 1.
I'm not going to say he was pitching around Donaldson to get to Batista, but Batista has been struggling a little bit this season, so you hope his struggles continue.
First and second with 2 down. Badly fooled by that pitch, on 1.
A little in between right now, so make the good pitches and keep him in between. He'll be around when he starts heating up.
Hopefully that's Friday. There's a strike. Bautista is 2 for 9 in his career against Brian Mattis. And he falls behind 0-2.
Brian losing the change up and away right there. Not a lot of conviction on that pitch. Want every pitch to have some purpose. Get it around the plate. Get the hitters thinking a little bit.
Boy, just right on that one.
Yeah, if you're going to get it in there, I mean, when you're this far ahead, you can afford to get it in off the plate an inch or 2. That one stayed on that inner third a little too long, and Batista put a quality 2-strike swing on it.
1-2 on him, 2 on and 2 out. 8th batter for the Jays in this inning. Lays off the changeup. 10 batters came up in the second, 8 more here in the third. Fly ball to right. Chasing Snyder, still going back, and he makes the catch and falls against the wall. Travis Snyder back on it. That ball sailed, and he stuck with it and grabbed it for the out. But 3 more for Toronto, and the Blue Jays now with a 9-2 lead. afternoon, brought to you by University of Maryland, University College. Here's our UMUC moment in history. Back in 1994 at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, switch hitting DH Eddie Murray hit a home run from both sides of the plate in the Indians' 10-6 win over the Twins. Eddie did that 11 times in his Hall of Fame career. Ended up with 362 home runs batting left-handed, 142 batting right-handed.
Eddie.
And his number retired by the O's. Delman Young fouls it off. Snyder and Machado to follow. Orioles now down by 7. Delman hit the ball hard his first at bat, but right at Jose Bautista. There's a chopper. Glove there by Burley, who turns to get him. You saw Mark Burley being very careful there with that bounce, but he was able to corral it and one away. Well, it's not too late to upgrade your summer with an Orioles partial season plan. The season plan members enjoy exclusive ticket savings, Major League Baseball's most flexible exchange policy, access to postseason tickets, plus plenty more orange carpet benefits. 13 game plans are still available. For all the details, just go online Orioles.com/season or call 888-848-BIRD. Travis Snyder struck out his first at bat. He does have a 4-game hitting streak going. Off speed, can't catch up, 0-2.
One of Burley's weapons, aside from the fact that he can mix up the speeds and locations on all of his pitches, is the fact that he works so fast. I mean, he gets on the mound, he rocks and fires, and you don't really have a lot of time to think about things. He tries to rush hitters and get them out in front on their front foot, and we've seen some weak contact already.
And a good take, 2-2. Burley out of St. Charles, Missouri, 16th season in the big leagues. That ball's hit towards left off the glove of Donaldson in the shallow left center field. So he went with the pitch. Burley was working him away, even though they had the quasi shift on, and not able to glove his Donaldson. So Snyder's on with one down.
Well, there you go. Good job staying with the pitch. He tried to do that. Keeps the hands inside, shoots it the other way, and that ball hits the turf. I don't think players know what the heck it's going to do. This one kicks up, catches Donaldson on the thumb, part of the glove, and kicks out in the outfield. Snyder happy with that.
And it is ruled a base hit. Manny bunts, pretty good one. Charging in Donaldson, barehanded pickup, no play, and Machado with a smart play and a bunt single. We were wondering if any of the Orioles were going to try that with the reputation this turf has on this first homestand for the Jays of being slow. Try to bunt the ball and deaden it, and there's Machado getting it done.
Yeah, and it's a great bunt. Donaldson back a little bit, ball dying. Donaldson wisely eating that ball. Could be the base hit Manny Machado needs. Get himself going.
2 on and 1 down. Caleb Joseph takes ball 1. Normally, when a pitcher gets to the 8 and 9 part of the lineup, he might be able to relax. Not so with Joseph and Flaherty. They are both red hot. Oh, that hit Bobby Dickerson.
Oh, my. Took it pretty good.
Now, see, if Bobby was in the coach's box, he wouldn't have got hit.
Right? Yeah, he gets deep down that line when a runner's at second base. And Caleb just hooking it, right off the right butt cheek right there. That might leave a mark, Bobby.
Of course, Wayne Kirby's getting on him. Wayne was safely on the other side of the field.
Do you think he'd move? Heck no. He's staying right in the same spot.
He's in line for Travis Snyder to get a good angle on the ball and whether to send the runner if there's a base hit. High fly ball left center field. On the run is Pilar, still going back on it and reaches up and makes the catch. Snyder went back to tag. He will get to third, and holding at first base is Machado, now with 2 men down. Mike, there are some funny reads in this game by outfielders. Pilar, it looked like he misjudged that ball or didn't realize it was going to go that far.
Yeah, ball seems to be carrying a little bit more. All the outfielders a little bit of trouble on the fly balls. Like he was closing in fine, but had to put it into another gear to run a Caleb Joseph deep fly down.
So it is first and third with 2 down. Ryan Flaherty now. Inside for ball one. Ryan doubled to center field, drove in a run his first at bat. Inside corner called strike. Burley goes in there, back-to-back pitches.
Which is fine for Ryan. Try to be patient, seeing the ball well. Really looks comfortable up there. There's some confidence going on right now in Ryan Flaherty, especially against the lefties. He's swinging it pretty good.
It's a foul off Russell Martin. Flaherty had gone 4 consecutive games without a start, and he had a stretch where he made just 1 start over a week in 7 games, and that was the day that Jonathan Scope got scratched with the tight quad. Ground ball knocked down by Burley. That was off his leg. He fires to first to get Ryan Flaherty, and that ends the threat. So the Orioles get 2 hits but strand 2. Mid-4th, 9-2 Toronto. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. A lot of lumber in this game.
Sure is. Edwin Encarnacion straightaway center field. Navarro smashes one. Donaldson deep off the wall, and then the Orioles start getting into it. Caleb Joseph staying red hot. So does Flaherty. Adam Jones. Oh my, oh my. He's covering every baseball he sees.
Adam with a base hit in this game. It was a double, also has a single, so another multi-hit game, his 6th. Off to a tremendous start. Here's Encarnacion against Brian Mattis. Rip to center field. Adam is there, back on it. 1 pitch, 1 away in the Toronto 4th. Let's get a look at our PNC minor league report and talk about pitchers who are trying to make sure they are known and what they're doing. Mike Wright, one of those.
Yeah, Mike Wright, of course, in camp this spring. Opened up a lot of eyes. Pitched 6 scoreless innings last night in Norfolk's 1-0 win. Tied starters, 2.33 earned run average in the last 9 games. In the bullpen, just as dominant, 1.75. Tides are in first place in the International League, first time since May of 2013. So beautiful job there. Mike Griffin, Ron Johnson, Jose Hernandez, and hitting coach Sean Berry doing a great job down there. Now they have some really good young arms at AAA as well. Tyler Wilson, of course McFarland's there, Davies, Gamboa. So good to see Mike Wright off to a good start.
And you know who else is pitching very well there is Steve Johnson.
Yeah, He's Johnson.
Pitching outstanding out of relief, and that's good to see. Trying to get beyond the shoulder surgery. There's a name to remember for some time this year because he is a strike thrower.
Yeah, he is.
It's all about the arm strength.
And he's so versatile. He can start, he can come out of the pen.
Buck was saying before the game that the organization very pleased with both Norfolk and Bowie the starts that they're off to, as Navarro goes down on strikes. 3 pitches and 2 quick outs.
Real good pitch from Brian Mattis right there. They're avoiding some righties. Here's a look at the Nissan pitch track. Beautiful breaking ball down in the zone. You see Caleb Joseph setting up down and in. Well, that's where you want it. Gets ahead and finishes them off. Get ahead on the plate. Expand for that 3rd strike.
A 2 down for Russell Martin. Six-run second, 3-run third for Toronto. That chased Bud Norris. Russell Martin back home. Born in East York. Couldn't have worked out better for Russell Martin on the free agent market. His hometown team made him the largest offer.
All right.
Oh, okay. I'll go home for that.
Well, pretty good pickup for the Blue Jays. Veteran catcher. There are some young arms on this staff.
Left field, Delman Young has a play. And he's got it. So Brian Mattis has a very quick 3 up, 3 down, 4. Well, into the 5th. Birds have some work to do, down 9-2. And we invite you to join us tomorrow. More O's action. Ubaldo Jimenez will take the mound against Aaron Sanchez. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Coverage on Massa 2 begins at 6:30 with O's Extra presented by Jeep. And then game coverage at 7 o'clock. We've got all the access you need right here on Massa.
And take a look at tomorrow's starters. Ubaldo has been dealing, to say the least, this year. Unfortunate ejection early in the ball game, but 0 earned run average, 10 punch outs, and 4 walks for Ubaldo. Aaron Sanchez off to a rough start. The youngster 0-2. The earned run average up over 6. Some problems with command. Already 5 walks and limited innings.
Cabrera tried to push a bunt, fouled it off. Everett is 0-2. Cabrera now 3 for 17 on the trip, facing Mark Burley. Right to shortstop. Reyes waits on the hop. And one away in the Oriole 5th. Cabrera at the top of the lineup is 0 for 3. Mark Burley is one of 113 pitchers to win at least 200 games. That is an elite group.
Yeah,
only 113 in the history of the game have at least 200 wins.
Well, I don't know that a lot of people thought he was going to be able to do that, but once he started getting on a roll, he has been one of the most durable pitchers in the history of the game. I mean, since 2001, he started at least 30 games and thrown over 200 innings or more. So really impressive. Got a World Series ring under his belt, a couple Gold Gloves. We've already seen him make some fine plays in this ball game.
Burley is one of 4 active pitchers with 200 wins. Tim Hudson, who's with the Giants, has 214. Sabathia has 208. And Bartolo Colon has 207. And then there's Burley with his 201. His 200th win came against the Orioles.
Yes, he did. His first start.
It was in the home opener on April 10th. Steve Pearce having some trouble with the off-speed pitches of Burley, able to foul him off to stay alive.
Well, you can see where Steve's really geared up. I mean, this guy's got a lot of energy coming in there. Nissan pitch track. See Burley hitting ahead, and now he's trying to expand the zone all over the place.
Foul ball down the line. Pearce hit it well, pulled it foul.
So Burley typically is going to go hard in. Well, hard for him, that cut fastball at 85 miles an hour. And then he's going to throw that fish on the outside corner that typically fades away and looks like it's going to hang on the plate, but it drops. It has a late fade at the end, and we've seen some weak ground balls hit, but that's kind of his MO, and it's really tough being patient and staying back on.
So Pearce works the count to 3-2, 1 out, nobody on. Right at Reyes again. 2 ground balls to short, 2 men down in the Orioles' 5th inning. Attention O's fans, Masson wants to upgrade your fan cave. You can show us how you're backing the Birds while the team is on the road by tagging your tweets using the hashtag #OsCouchCam. O's Couchcam to be automatically entered to win autographed memorabilia. Follow @Masson Orioles on Twitter for more information.
Talk show Walter John Russell and he's Orioles' new hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh there in the front. Hoping this offense put some more crooked numbers up on the board.
You wonder if the other members of the Blue Jays rotation are going to sue Mark Burley for stealing all the support. Mark Burley in his first 2 starts, the run support average for him 16.5 runs a game. They scored 11 runs in each of his first 2 starts, and they have 9 on the board tonight.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
All the support for Burley.
Well,
and he's a guy that generally doesn't need it.
Right.
Or not that much.
Exactly. Yeah, spread the wealth, right? Well, I think there's something to be said about his tempo, you know, working fast, and I think the offense, the defense that plays behind him appreciates that. I don't know if it has anything to do with what they do putting up runs, but
Chris Davis with a 2-out walk. Adam Jones coming up. Best OPS in April since 1954 in Orioles history. And Adam right there right now ranking 4th.
Yeah, some pretty impressive names on that list. Of course, Adam Jones is starting to make some history of his own. 1.294 OPS, but Robinson, Singleton, Murray, Robinson again on that list.
High fly ball, mile high to left field. Pilar will wait. And he's got it for the out. Adam guessed right, but he got under it. So a 2-out walk to man left, mid-5th at the Rogers Center. 9-2 Toronto. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Inside Rogers Center with the roof closed, unfortunately so. Rained most of the day. Some of the folks saying they drove here from the suburbs and there were hailstorms in the area.
When I walked over, it was hailing. And you know what I said?
Why did I walk?
I said, what the hell? I had an umbrella I took from the hotel, though, so that helped.
I saw that.
You did?
Yeah. What'd that cost you at that hotel?
Well, the guy at the front gave it to me. He said, yeah, hey, you better use this. And I said, well, thank you very much. So I don't know. Will I get a bill for it? I may.
You got to return it?
I will.
So you're a better man than me. I saw the rain and took a taxi, even though it's like 2 blocks away. I had no umbrella. Didn't want to get wet.
Well,
Cabby wasn't too happy with me.
No,
he thought I was going to the airport. 1-1 on Dalton Pompey, batting right-handed against Mattis. There's another base hit for Pompey. He's breaking out of it and heads it to the corner. Relman Young will get it back in. There's a leadoff double.
And they've been waiting for Pompey's bat to start to come alive. This kid can do a lot of things. Switch hitter. Here getting the elevated. Looks like a little slider up in the zone. Pulls those hands in tight. Beats on that one down the left field line. Great speed. Gets him into second base easy.
Second hit allowed off Mattis since he came on. He's worked an inning and 2/3. Here's Pilar in the number 8 spot. Drove in 2 runs with a single his third at bat. That was the last batter Bud Norris faced. Strike at the knees, 0-1. So the Orioles now have had a start of 2 1/3 innings. That's tonight for Bud Norris. There's the 0-1. There's another base hit. Pompey had to make sure that got by Cabrera, so he'll make it to third. The double now a single. And Pilar in the number 8 spot is 2 out of 3.
Another pitch elevated a little bit. The changeup. It's a good piece of the bat on there. Pilar, nice job getting ahead, but he can expand the zone a little bit. So keep working the edges, keep it off the outside corner. The mistakes there on the plate, and he's hammered them.
First and third, nobody down. Here's Ryan Goins, who's had a big night in the number 9 spot. A 2-run single, then another RBI single, so 2 for 2 and 3 ribbies. Pop up in the infield, that'll help Mattis. Pierce at first, and he's got it, 1 away. Big out for Brian Mattis. But Mike, you talk about the Orioles starters in this rough start now. 10 start of less than 6 innings. 2 1/3 innings, that's tonight. They've had a start of 2 2/3. They've had a start of 3, and they've had a start of 3 2/3. That's 4 of the 14 starts, less than 4 innings.
Yeah, it doesn't bode very well for a healthy bullpen, and that's always a concern of every team. And I think, you know, until this rotation starts to settle down and eat up more innings, there's going to be some problems. Now, we saw that, though, last year for the first couple months. There were some inconsistencies with the rotation, and you hope that it irons itself out a little bit sooner than it did last year, because once this rotation took hold, I mean, that's when this team took off. I mean, it was really impressive to see how everything came together. So hopefully sooner than later.
Check swing, and it's low. 2-0. Baldo goes tomorrow. He has not allowed a single run in 2 starts. His last start was shortened by the umpire.
Yeah, had a no-hitter going.
Reyes swings through it. 2-1.
Doesn't look like he had a cracked rib on that swing.
Astros. This division, with all these games against each other early on, is bunched. 2 games separate top to bottom. Foul tip in and out of the glove of Joseph. The Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the Rays came into this game tonight all at 6 and 7, just 2 games back. The Orioles a game above, Boston 3 above in first place.
Ooh, that foul ball catching Caleb Joseph up on the right bicep. And a changeup, real good pitch.
Ow.
Goodness for that little shoulder pad right there.
Center field, Jones in on it. He has a play. Runner tags. Here's the catch. No throw home. Coming in to score is Dalton Pompey. It's a sac fly and an RBI. And it's now 10-2 Toronto. So Mattis allows a run here in the 5th. Here's the Orioles' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Mile One Automotive, offering you 20 convenient locations throughout the Baltimore area. Visit us in-store or online at mile1.com. 2 more games here in Toronto. Night games tomorrow and Thursday. Then the Birds fly home to begin a homestand. 3 against Boston Friday and Saturday night. And then a Sunday day game. Here's Donaldson. Ripped to center field for a base hit. That is the 3rd hit in the inning. Donaldson 2 for 3 plus a walk.
Chuck and duck here for Brian Mattis. He gets on this fastball, takes it right back through the box. A lot of hits right there, back through the middle.
So 2 on. Pilar stops at second. Donaldson at first for Bautista, who is 0 for 3. Blocked by Joseph. Bautista is the only hitter in this lineup that has not contributed in some way to this 10-2 lead.
I don't get to say that very often.
Normally he leads it. Off-speed pitch misses.
Just missing with the changeup down at the bottom of the zone. Good pitch. You know, Brian wanted that, Caleb.
The Blue Jays are trying to snap a postseason drought. They have not been to the playoffs since they won the World Series in 1993, 21 seasons ago. And 10 different times in those 21 years they had losing records. Their offense certainly is capable of contending. The pitching overall, especially with the youngsters they have, that'll be a work in progress as the year goes on. Left field, Delman Young there. And he's got it for the out. Batista's 0 for 4, but the Jays had a run. We'll head to the 6th. We're at Rogers Center, 10-2 Toronto. First Blue Cross Blue Shield contributes $50 to support the March of Dimes. The O's have drawn 37 walks for a total of $1,850. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. Oriole fans at the Rogers Center, they're not too happy at the moment as the Birds come up in the sixth, trailing by 8 runs. Delman Young rips it down the left field line. That is a fair ball in the corner. Delman around first, hustling to second base. The throw of Pilar. He is safe. Goins missed the tag on the slide in. Bang, bang play. Pilar showing a strong arm, but Delman Young on at second with a leadoff double.
Yeah, Pilar, a pretty good left fielder, has yet to make an error. Delman Young, good speed for the big guy, but Goins, it's a swing and miss. He comes back and tries to get him. But Delman keeps that front foot on the base. Pilar got to that ball in a hurry. Delman Young smoked it off the left field wall.
Orioles' 8th hit in this game. Here's Travis Snyder. Liam Hendricks in the Toronto bullpen. John Gibbons doesn't feel the need to extend Burley with a big lead. Strike on the corner, 0-2 on Travis Snyder, who's 1 out of 2. Single off the glove of Donaldson his last at bat.
You can afford to be a little bit careful with your veteran pitcher if you're spotted this kind of a lead. That's all they ask out of Burley. Get him through the 6th.
Bounce to second. Big hop for Goins. Snyder retired 1 away. Young moves to third. Burley won his last start last Wednesday. He had an extra day of rest because of the day off Toronto had yesterday. Each of his first 2 starts, he went exactly 6 innings, trying to pitch 6 innings here. Here's Machado. Deep left field, down the line, towards the corner. That is a foul ball. Pilar went tumbling into the corner. Ryan Gorman, the third base umpire, with a bit of a delayed call as Pilar went tumbling into the corner.
Yeah, this kid gets after it down there. Manny Machado just down the line. Pilar making the highlight film earlier this week, robbing a home run up and over the wall out there in left field. He gets busy out there. We've seen a couple good plays from him already.
Manny got on with a bunt single his last at bat. He is 3 for 16 on the trip. Too tight. 2-1. Delman Young at third, led off with a double, moved up on the ground out by Snyder. Good take, appeal to first. No swing. Mike DeMuro said he checked.
That is a good take. Good pitch from Burley. The changeup down and away.
High fly ball to left. Deep enough to score a run. Pilar back on it. And he's got it. Here comes Delman Young. And a sac fly and an RBI for Machado. And it's now 10-3 in favor of Toronto.
Well, Manny will take that sac fly. Some good swings in that at bat. Once again, you see how Burley works. He came inside on Manny 4 times, and all 4 times different speeds. That one just taking a little bit more off at just 78 miles an hour. Gets him out in front. Sure, he gets the job out, but Burley second out.
Burley's done a real good job of minimizing damage in this game as he gets ahead of Joseph. The Orioles got their leadoff man on in the second, didn't score. They got their first 2 on in the third. Then he allowed 2 more hits in the inning, but no more than those 2 runs. Davis was gunned down at the plate to end that inning. He allowed 2 hits with 1 down in the 4th, no runs, and then a 2-out walk in the 5th and no runs. Caleb Joseph, deep right field, chasing Bautista. He'll get there, and he has it for the out. Orioles settle for a run on the sac fly by Machado. Then 6 in Toronto. Jays have the lead. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free at DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code TRIPLEPLAY for a free entry. By visitannapolis.org. You can find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. And by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at ococean.com. Oriole fans on hand here. What number are you wearing? Come on, little guy. Mattis stays on. He's gone 2 2/3 in relief of Bud Norris. Encarnacion takes a strike in the outside corner.
Good opportunity here for Brian Mattis. That early exit from Bud Norris, an opportunity to face a lot of tough right-handers, to find ways to get them out. As he's going to be extended here, try to save that bullpen a little bit for these crucial games and the rest of this series. And then, as you mentioned, heading back home to play Boston again.
Well, even in a game you're down by 7 runs, you can help your team. And Mike, I agree with you. Mattis, with a good effort here and eating up some of these innings, he may enable the Orioles to win tomorrow or be in position to win tomorrow by the relievers they won't have to go to tonight. Just outside. Jeep inside the numbers.
Most home runs since 2011. Orioles leading the way with the 847, but there's the Blue Jays in third at 763. Now some big-time sluggers, obviously, in those groups. Adam Jones and Chris Davis for the Orioles, but Encarnacion and Batista have over 250 homers between them.
Oh, that ball's going to go. Fifth deck. Or just under the row of the fifth deck. I think it hit the fifth deck. Fans are running after it.
And not many get up there. Encarnacion got on that one.
Wow.
So much for his little home run drought against the Orioles. The ball's powdered up there in the fifth deck. Quiet approach and then releases the thunder, and that ball way out of here.
2 for 4 with 2 home runs for Encarnacion. There's a bouncer towards the shift, and Ryan Flaherty gloves it. Not going to have a play. Throws anyway, but Leandro Navarro is on. So Navarro, slapping it the other way against the shift, is on with a single. Now the Birds begin a key 3-game weekend series with Tampa Bay. It begins on Friday, May the 1st at Oriole Park. On Sunday, May 3rd, first 10,000 female fans 15 and over will receive an Orioles wristlet presented by PNC Bank. Good seats are available. For your tickets, Orioles.com or call 888-848-BIRD. And for the complete schedule of upcoming promotions and special giveaway dates, go online, Orioles.com/promotions. Lifted to right. Travis Snyder another chance. Has this one lined up and makes the catch. 1 away. Martin is retired. He's 0 for 2, but he's walked twice and scored twice. Dalton Pompey has had a perfect night. He has doubled twice, he has walked, and he has scored 3 times. 22-year-old from Mississauga, which is just outside of Toronto. A native Canadian playing for his hometown team. And Mike, you look at his ascent last year. He began the year in Dunedin in the Florida State League. Played 70 games there. Then he was promoted to New Hampshire in the AA Eastern League. Played 31 games there. Then they promoted him to AAA Buffalo, and he played 12 games there. And September came around, and they thought, well, we're out of the race. Let's give this kid a look. And he came up to the big leagues, and he played here in September. 17 games with the Blue Jays in September. So he started before hundreds in the Florida State League in Dunedin to finishing up in the big leagues, and here he is now a regular on this team. They traded Anthony Gose, opened up center field, and he won the job.
Yeah, pretty nice story right there. Obviously, you credit him and his talent, but the Blue Jays in their player development and recognizing that this young player has tremendous skill and that he can handle playing at the big league level. I mean, there's a lot to be put on his shoulders right now, the starting center fielder for the Blue Jays, and this is a team that's considered one of the major contenders in the division. And we've seen teams take chances on young players before, especially in the middle of the field, whether it be shortstop or center field. And it's a big challenge. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride, and teams definitely have to be patient with the younger players, but they believe he can handle it. And we've seen today he's swinging the bat very well. And obviously great speed and can run him down in center field. The Orioles had a couple young players as well that they rushed through there, Manny Machado and Jonathan Scope. So when you see good talent, you think they can help you, you bring them up. Jason Garcia up in the Orioles bullpen.
Three and two on Pompey. Right-handed batter is on deck. There's a line drive over the glove of Machado and another base hit for Pompey. He is 3 for 3 plus a walk. And
this effort by Machado showing the ups, but just out of the reach. Showalter coming out to get Brian.
So Mattis leaves. Garcia will come on. Blue Jays have 2 on and 1 out, a run in the 6th.
Ball game and relief of Brian Mattis. 78% fastball is pretty good fastball. Low to mid 90s, and the breaking ball, the hard slider, 22% of the time. Been in 3 games this year. Got off to a good start, but gave up a couple earned runs against Boston, so that earned run average at 506. 2 punch-outs, 4 walks for Garcia.
Navarro at second, Pompey at first with 1 down. It's another test for Garcia. First time he has worked in back-to-back games. Breaking ball for a strike. Last year in A-ball with the Red Sox. Pulled deep but foul off the bat of Pilar.
Well, not a lot he could have done with that pitch. 94 miles an hour, and it was riding in on the hands. you're going to get the bat head on it, really the only way you're going to get to it is yank it foul. So this location with the fastball, find a way to finish it off, getting ahead here.
0-2 the count. Late time granted by Mark Carlson. You hitters always get that late time call.
The late time, yeah.
Slowly hit the first. Pierce will flip to Garcia covering up. It was the only play he had. Runners advance, 2 men down. Tough right there for Garcia. He made too good of a pitch. Orioles can't turn 2 on him.
Right. Nice little slider off the plate, down and away. Chopper, and of course the speed of Pompey forced Pierce to flip it back to Garcia to get the second out.
Ryan Goins now has had a big night in the number 9 spot. There's 2 more in scoring position. Over but low, 1-0. The Blue Jays have scored in 4 of their 6 at-bats, including the big 6-run second inning against Bud Norris. Ow! That hurts. So the fastball gets away from Garcia, and Goins will go to first. That'll load the bases with 2 down.
Well, the fastball wanting it inside. He made sure of it that time. Pitching Goins on the thigh, 94 miles an hour. Gonna leave a mark right there.
He is limping as he goes down to first base. Turns over the lineup again. Here's Jose Reyes for his 5th plate appearance on the night. 2 RBIs, run scored. Down and in, 1-0.
You see the command can be a problem at times. After hitting Goins, Caleb Joseph setting up away, and that fastball running back inside.
Garcia has had some injury issues in his past. The last 2 years he had shortened seasons. 2013 he didn't pitch after May 19th, and last year he was brought along slowly by Boston. He pitched just over 56 innings for 2 low A-ball clubs. There's a ground ball towards the middle. Diving stop by Cabrera. Flips to Flaherty for the force. And the inning is over. What a play by Everth Cabrera. He saved at least 2 more runs. So Garcia finally gets the final out of the inning, helped out by his defense. Everth Cabrera with a fine play to get the force on Goins.
Geico highlights. Encarnacion goes deep to straightaway center after 62 ABs versus the O's without a home run. And then Flaherty, who's staying red hot, doubles in a run off Burley as the Orioles battle back.
Let's get on the board.
But the Blue Jays have been hot. Goins drives in a run. That's a single through the hole, scoring 2. Blue Jays continue to put pressure on, but Encarnacion's second home run is a bomb. That's the 5th deck here at the Rogers Center, and Encarnacion is heating up. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. Mark Burley now out of the ball game. 6 innings pitched. Did give up the 8 hits, 3 earned runs against the O's. 99 pitches thrown. Just the 2 punch-outs, pitches to contact. And he had a successful outing as his offense backed him up with the 11 runs.
There's Liam Hendricks on in relief now. One time in camp with the Orioles a few years ago.
Take a look at his pitch arsenal here this season. The fastball at 62% of the time, breaking ball 38%, and he's been pitching pretty well.
Sliced down the other way, and that's been a fade back foul.
Look at his numbers here on the year. He's been in 5 games, 6 innings of work, and all 6 of them scoreless. 9 punch-outs and just 1 walk. Pretty effective with his arsenal.
1-2 on Flaherty. Good take. Cabrera and Pierce are due to follow. Inside.
He's got the big curve ball. It's slower in the low 70s, and then the harder slider in the mid 80s. His fastball, he works in the low 90s.
Ryan Flaherty works the walk despite falling behind 1-2. So, native of Australia. Hendricks walks the first batter he faces, which would not make his manager John Gibbons happy with an 8-run lead. With Cabrera looking for his first hit, he has grounded out 3 consecutive at-bats.
Fine defensive play by Cabrera to end that last inning. Showing his range, diving up the middle. Had a very solid shortstop for the Orioles in J.J. Hardy's absence.
There's a base hit for Cabrera, goes the other way. So Cabrera has his 11th base hit for the Orioles, and all 11 hits have been singles. And he's on now, 2 on with none out in the 7th. Mike, you talk about J.J. Hardy. Buck gave an update before the game. J.J. has moved his, it's not rehab yet because he's not on a rehab assignment, but he has moved to Norfolk to work with the AAA staff, and he is not yet game ready, but Buck still no timetable. When he feels well enough to play, when that shoulder and the follow through and the swing feels good, or doesn't feel it, I guess, then he'll begin games.
Yeah, well, he's in a good place there in Norfolk. Of course, Ron Johnson, Buck trusts him so much, and hitting coach Sean Barry will help him with his swing. And you know, it's a nice veteran group there, so JJ will be right at home. Of course, that AA team in Bowie, they're off to Akron. Gary Kendall and Alan Mills and his staff and players head there. JJ was actually in Bowie until they went on the road.
Yeah, our colleague Steve Molesky at MASNsports.com went down the other night to check in on JJ and Dylan Bundy, and Bundy pitched another nice game.
Yep. Which is good. There's been some real good success in AAA and AA this year, so you know, opportunities for some of the players that are doing a good job. You hope nothing happens here with injuries, but as we've seen here in the early going, it certainly does happen. So be ready. And Buck's gone down to AAA and AA many times over the last 5 years of managing.
Pierce pops it up. Goins is calling off Encarnacion. Infield fly rule was called anyway, so Pierce is retired. An 0-for-4 night for Steve. He does have an RBI and a ground out. His struggles continue. He is 4 for his last 37. 14,184 here tonight. Of course, they can put 50,000 in here, so a good amount of crowds would look small. And there's the shift against Chris Davis.
Well, it's still hockey season, right?
And there's an NBA playoff game going on right down the street.
That's true. Toronto's in the basketball playoffs.
There's a bouncer towards the shift. Throw back to first. Pulls Encarnacion off the bag, and it gets beyond him, and a run will score. And Davis will end up at second, and Cabrera will end up at third. So Ryan Goins got to it, but the off-balance throw pulls Encarnacion off the bag, and then it went by him. And that is an E4 straight through.
And Goins making a nice off-balance throw earlier in the game, but has to take a deeper angle here. They have the shift on. Chris Davis chopping it through. Tough to get that body turned and your body under control. As it pulls Encarnacion off and kicks away.
So Davis ends up at second, 2 in scoring position with Cabrera at third. And here is Adam Jones, who has a 2-for-3 night with a single and a double. The 6th multi-hit game and a chance for a couple of RBIs. Slider in the dirt, nicely blocked by Russell Martin. Aaron Loup, a left-hander, getting loose. Blue Jays have 3 left-handers in their bullpen and 4 right-handers, including Hendricks, who is in the game now. Adam came into the game leading the American League in base hits with 21, and he has 2 more in this game. Foul may have gotten a piece of him as it rolled by.
Two-seamer, good velocity right there, riding in on Adam Jones. Very tough to pick Hendricks up. That's why he's had this success cross-body delivery. Look at that ball take off inside, right on Adam's hands. Almost got a piece of his leg there as he fouls it off.
Two in scoring position for him with 1 down. Oh, good cut, and he fouled it back. You can hear him grunt as he swung at that.
Yeah, that was a hanging breaking ball right there for Adam Jones, and maybe just a touch too big on that swing.
He is doing such a great job early on this year making contact and adjusting with 2 strikes. And he fouls off a real good pitch.
Oh, that's how he's not when he gets to 2 strikes. He's not afraid. He's letting the ball travel right there. The fastball inside. He didn't want to do anything with that pitch. It was going to be borderline, so you just do what you can to protect and keep your bat alive. Pitchers make mistakes, and Adam's shown that this year. He's got a lot of hits, I think 10 now with 2 strikes, so he's limited his strikeouts.
Towards the gap in left center field. That ball is caught by Pilar. Oh, he caught it, and he gets a double play. What a play by Pilar. He short circuits what would have been a big inning for the Orioles and gets a double play to end it. Outstanding grab by Kevin Pilar, and he turns it into an inning-ending double play. 7th inning stretch at the Rogers Center. season Orioles baseball by ordering the official Orioles Maryland license plate. It features the popular cartoon bird. The plate is a great way to turn every day into game day and help support Orioles reach and our community with proceeds going to the Orioles Charitable Foundation. Visit Orioles.com/plates today to reserve your plate and show off your Birdland pride. Pilar on the bench.
What a defensive play that was.
He does it every game.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, we've seen him in this ball game. He gets after it. I mean, he sees a ball in the air and he wants it no matter where it is.
Garcia stays on. Here's Donaldson outside, 1-0. Donaldson has a 2-for-4 night, 2-for-3 plus a walk, excuse me, 4 plate appearances.
Nice slider right there from Garcia. That's a pitch that really caught Dave Wallace and Buck Showalter's eye. Good command of his slider and located down and away very well.
Tough night here for Bud Norris. Tough night for Milwaukee starter Mike Fiers tonight. He gave up 2 grand slams in his start tonight.
Ooh.
There's another base hit for Donaldson. High breaking ball. Donaldson is thinking too. He's going to test the arm of Delman Young, and he gets there standing up. So another leadoff man on for Toronto.
Outfielders getting some work today. There, Garcia leaving the slider up a little bit. Donaldson not missing many mistakes right now. Swinging the bat very well.
What Garcia will learn coming to the big league straight from A-ball. Here's Jose Bautista, who is 0 for 4 on the night. And you know he's upset about that. Tough homestand for Bautista.
Yeah, 2 for 24. Does have a couple home runs and 4 RBI, and you know pitchers are careful with them. The 8 walks every year. High walk total, high on base percentage.
Ooh, behind Jose Bautista. And the runner goes to third. And a warning now being issued by Mark Carlson. John Gibbons is going to come out and say, what the heck are you warning us for?
I guess it didn't hit him. Looks like it might have gone behind him. Fastball getting away. Bautista looking out there. Garcia, what the heck are you thinking about? I haven't gotten a hit this game. That did go behind him.
Well, I don't think there's any way Jason Garcia is throwing at him. You know, we talked about his erratic command, but whenever you see that, it just looks so suspicious.
Yeah, it really does look suspicious. And of course, Bautista's had a little bit of a history with the Orioles, especially with Darren O'Day.
And speaking of that, Darren O'Day and Jose Bautista.
Darren O'Day and Bautista have had something going on for a few years now. September hits him in the backside. And then Bautista this year, April 12th, taking him deep.
Donaldson at third. He moves up on the wild pitch, and yes, it was wild. Deep left center field. Bautista got back at him, and that ball is gone. And he's going to take his sweet time going around the bases. Yelling at Bautista as he goes by.
Adam Jones yelling at Bautista too. Center field.
Adam Jones walking in towards the infield. And then he looks at the Orioles dugout.
Adam Jones taking offense to that, pimping the home run. Of course, he had a fastball thrown behind him. You know, this is a blowout game. I don't know if you need to be doing this. I mean, that's standing there watching, now just walking. Flips the bat down. And then is when Adam came in and let him know what he was thinking about it.
Adam is still yelling towards the Blue Jays bench, and you got to respect him and Ryan Flaherty for protecting their young teammate. Again, it looks very suspicious when you major league pitchers should have command enough not to throw behind hitters. I mean, obviously, when it's done with intent. I don't think there's any way he did that in this instance, but it looks suspicious. And then Bautista hot dogging it, if you will, after the home run.
Well, that's exactly what Adam Jones saw, what he's talking about here. This game, 13-4. Go ahead and have your swings, but why do you want to show somebody up? I can understand what Bautista's thinking too, with the fastball behind him at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, Adam pointing at Bautista now. And this has the makings, with 2 more games to go, getting a bit ugly. Bautista, it's amazing. He's such a great player, but he tends to bring that on himself with his theatrics. Why can't you just hit a home run and run around the bases? Yeah.
I agree.
Adam is worked up.
That's what you do when you compete. That's what it's all about. Showing somebody up. And Adam's the team leader for the Orioles, taking charge right here.
One and 2 on Encarnacion. Broken bat flare and caught by Machado in front of Cabrera. So there's the first out in the 7th. So after the home run, Buck went out to calm him down. And he does retire Encarnacion, but Adam Jones is not stopping.
Yeah, he's hot.
Deanna Navarro will bat. He's had a good night. Skipper talking with John Russ, his bench coach.
Kirby keeping an eye on Adam Jones out in center field.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he doesn't go to the third base dugout on the way
right.
in. High fly ball slicing down the left field line. A long run for Delman Young. He's not going to get there. Nice effort by Manny Machado. He couldn't reach it as well.
You keep playing. And good sign right there. Manny Machado giving all he's got to try to get that, run that foul ball down. Keep playing the game. Keep playing it the right way. It's a frustrating game. At times you're going to get blown out. Stay professional, do your job, and do it the right way.
Left field, chasing Delman Young. That ball slicing back, and it's over his head, hits the wall on the fly. Delman firing into second base. Deanna Navarro is out. So he got greedy, tried to stretch it into a double, and Delman Young guns him down. That ball all the way into Ryan Flaherty on the fly for the second out.
A nice play right there by Delman Young, and all the ball smoked into the gap. Delman Young giving chase. But plays it so well off the wall. Creates a little momentum back towards second base. On the fly. Catches Navarro off by surprise as well. Nice play right there by Delman.
Here's Russell Martin. 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. Each time Milwaukee scored. Now, when Garcia threw behind Bautista and Mark Carlson immediately stepped in front of the plate and warned both benches, John Gibbons, the manager of the Jays, came out and had a very heated exchange with Carlson, upset at the warning. Because now, if the Blue Jays go back at the Orioles, their pitcher gets ejected. And Adam Jones has it for the out, and the inning is finally over. But not before Jose Bautista upsets the Birds. The Astros running the bases. 13-4 Toronto. Might take his time getting off the field, and he did. And here's what happened between innings. Adam yelling at Jose Bautista as Bautista took the field. First, Bautista ignored him, and then he started yelling back, yeah, he threw behind my back, and I took him deep. And Adam Jones letting him know he was not happy with the theatrics of Bautista running the bases.
A couple veteran guys considered their team leaders, standing up for their teams. Why not? I mean, that's what it's all about. This is good competition. Bautista arguing about the ball going behind him, and throw a ball behind him, he's going to do whatever he wants. And it seems like he's done that a few times against the Orioles, where he's been hit, and then his ultimate payback is hitting a home run.
So now we'll see if Liam Hendriks does anything about it as Delmon Young comes up. Snyder and Machado due to follow. Fastball for a strike. Justin Smoke is now at first base, replacing Edwin Encarnacion. Defense late in the game with a big lead. Delmon lifts it to right field, and there's a base hit. And Bautista throws to first base to try to get Delmon Young, and wow. Mike, I'll tell you, you play the game. That is so unprofessional. He's hot dogging it now.
Well, he's taking offense to what the Orioles did to him, and there isn't really any need for that. Nice piece of hitting by Delmon Young, though. Keeping the hands inside, shooting it the other way.
So John Gibbons comes out, and we'll get a pitching change as Hendriks will leave. He goes an inning plus a batter. Aaron Loop will come on with the left-handed bat of Travis Snyder due. Pitching change in Toronto. Tempers are flaring at Rogers Center.
mobile game changer, second inning leadoff hitter. It's Encarnacion. And he gets the fastball and goes straight away center. Put the Blue Jays on the board, and they go on to score 6 runs in that second inning. And here's a look at heavyweight fight right here between Batista and Adam Jones. A lot of John going on. Good to see Adam still smiling down there in the dugout, though.
Loop against Travis Snyder, misses ball 1.
And Loop, take a look at his pitch arsenal. A fastball 68% of the time, breaking ball 16%, and the changeup. What makes him so tough, that cross body delivery.
And a base hit against the shift down the line. Delman Young's going to head to third as Pilar digs it out. Trying for 2 is Snyder. The throw not in time. There's a double. So to second and third. And nobody out.
Nice piece of hitting right there by Snyder, going the other way. Here's a look at Aaron Loop's numbers on the season. He's been in 6 games at lofty earned run average of 6.0. 4 punch outs, 1 walk. Only giving up the 3 hits. So tough luck here in the early going for Loop.
Manny Machado as a bunt single, RBI and a sac fly. So 1 out of 2 officially. Now, if you're the Orioles here, Mike, you got this at bat plus the 9th. You'd love to make it as uncomfortable as you can for John Gibbons. Maybe have to go to that bullpen a time or 2 more.
Well, that is the ultimate goal. Keep stringing together some good at bats.
Here's a bouncer to first, fielded by Smoke. He'll take the out. Young scores, trading it out for a run and 1 away. So Manny has his 2nd RBI of the game.
Much like the Blue Jays have done here, is getting deeper into the Orioles bullpen.
Caleb Joseph 1 out of 3 with a single and a run scored. Fastball misses too tight. Brad Brock now getting loose for the Orioles. Looks like he'll come on and pitch the bottom of the 8th. Swing and a miss, and it gets away from the catcher, Russell Martin, and here comes Travis Snyder to score. May have been crossed up on that pitch. So it was 13-6.
Take a look right here. The swing, but Martin playing it off the thumb, and it just kicks away, turns the glove over like it might hit the dirt.
Pass ball has been charged. Hard hit ball, but right at short. There's Reyes, gets a nice hop and throws out Joseph for the 2nd out. So the Orioles have 6 on the board, and they still trail by 7. Here's Ryan Flaherty.
Flaherty continuing to have some consistent at bats. Not in a hurry right now to get things done. Trusting what he sees. Trying to get deeper into counts.
Fastball misses inside. You know, and you wonder how the consistent playing time he's getting now that Jonathan Scope is hurt is helping him. You get regular reps in game action, game conditions.
That's a good take right there. I mean, we've seen in the past where Ryan gets a little bit exposed on the breaking ball, but seeing the ball really well right now.
Fisted towards third. Donaldson plays the hop. Flaherty stopped. He thought it was going to be caught. Has to run down the line, and he is retired. But the Orioles do get a couple. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th in a weird game, wild game, 13-6 Toronto. game. Buck Showalter removes him for the bottom of the 8th. David Loeb goes on to play in center field. If Adam had stayed in the game, he would have been due 4th in the 9th inning. But after the verbal back and forth with Jose Bautista, Buck Showalter gets him out of there. In large part, I'm sure, to protect Adam. And here's Brad Brock.
Brad Brock's pitch arsenal this season, that fastball 59% of the time. Pretty good sink on that pitch. Cross-body delivery is in the low to mid-90s. A breaking ball, the hard slider at 14%. Real good changeup, swing and miss change 27% of the time. That earned run average is going to start coming down. It's 5.40 right now. An inning and 2/3 up in Boston. A scoreless baseball. Looked really sharp. Good movement and command of all of his pitches.
Now, Brad, after allowing runs in each of his first 4 appearances, has now put together back-to-back appearances without allowing a run. He'll face the lower third of the lineup. Here's Dalton Pompey, who's had a perfect night. Slow roller past him out. Tough play for Flaherty. Throws on the run and got him by a stride. Nicely done by Flaherty and one away on one pitch.
A real good play. Great pitch by Brock. Good sinker right there. Flaherty tested, has a long way to go on this slow roller. Pompey, the good speed. Bang, bang play. Nice play by Flash.
Brad Brock's so important to this bullpen. There's Kevin Pillar, who's had a huge night. 2 for 4, a couple of RBIs, and he robbed Adam Jones of at least 2 base hits, or 2 RBIs rather, with a diving catch and the breaking ball in there for a strike. Check swing and he went too far. It's 0-2. Back-to-back good breaking balls. Or that one maybe a tailing fastball.
Yeah. Good movement, riding off the outside corner. Nice job getting ahead.
Flaherty again. 2 outs on ground balls to Ryan Flaherty. Fans, you can follow the Orioles all season with the MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Ryan Goins, the #9 batter. 3 RBI night on a couple of singles. There's a strike in the outside corner. So Brock is the 3rd reliever used in this game. Hit to Machado, who was wide of the bag. Goins hustling down. Manny throws him out, and Brad Brock comes on and gets 3 consecutive ground ball outs. We head to the 9th. Last shot for the O's. They come to bat, down by 7. Orioles Baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by your Baltimore BMW Centers. Nighttime in Toronto along the shores of Lake Ontario. There's the CN Tower. Showalter on the Orioles bench, making notes constantly, as he always does. And here is Marco Estrada to come on to pitch in the ninth.
Take a look at his pitch arsenal. That fastball, he's got the four-seamer, two-seamer 56% of the time. High 80s, low 90s with that pitch. Breaking ball, a little curveball at 13%. Pretty good change. And he likes to go to that pitch 31% of the time. Straight change. Pretty good arm so with that pitch. Here's his numbers on the year. 3 games, a 1.69 earned run average. 5 punch-outs in his 5 1/3 innings of work.
Top of the lineup, Everett Cabrera. He'll flip over to the other side and bat left-handed. Then Pierce and Chris Davis are due. Hard hit ball, base hit right field. Everett Cabrera has a 2-hit night. Mike, let's get a look at our Lexus of Towson drive of the game. And it came off the bat of Jose Bautista in the 7th.
After a fastball behind him, he gets on a fastball, but then he just stands there and watches it and enjoys it. A bat flip. Make sure it's a home run. Then a little glance into the Orioles dugout. Well, Adam Jones taking offense to that. Well, Bautista taking offense to what Adam Jones is saying. Not showing his team up.
Drive of the game brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the area's #1 volume Lexus dealer, 5 years running. See why at lexusoftowson.com. Pierce is 0 for 4. Breaking ball is high. 1-1 the count. Adam at the end of the Orioles bench. You love the heart and the competition, the competitive nature of Adam Jones.
Well, he knows this is his team, and he doesn't want anybody showing anybody up on his team.
And he's protecting his 22-year-old rookie teammate, who, I mean, you can't be certain, you can't get in someone's mind, but very unlikely he did that on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this ball game, Bautista hadn't done any damage until that home run off Garcia.
Breaking ball for a strike, 2-2. Pierce almost looks as like he's expecting one to come high and tight. The way he reacted to that.
Well, I think all the hitters are going to be a little tentative after what just happened, the warnings and all, but at the end of the ball game, and you wonder if a pitcher's going to thinking differently.
Pierce down on strikes, can't reach the off-speed pitch.
A couple good changeups here from Estrada. Really his best pitch. Primarily stays fastball changeup, taking something off and gets Pierce out in front. First out of the inning.
Chris Davis is 1 out of 3 plus a walk. His 5th hit on the road trip. Fastball in the inside corner. This would be a spot with the Orioles down by 7, where Chris might think about pushing that bunt against this shift.
Well, I don't know that Chris is thinking about that. Maybe he's thinking about hitting a home run that might score 7 right here, but you know that won't happen. But just the way this game has gone, he probably wouldn't mind taking one deep and watching it a little bit.
Estrada gets ahead 0-2. Strike 3 called. Looked inside. Mark Carlson rings him up. May have just hit the corner. Davis thought it was too tight, but 2 away.
And Davis didn't like that pitch, and actually it wasn't even meant to be a strike. You see Martin holding the glove up and in. Looks like it's just off the plate in the inside corner. He stayed in there and ended up getting that 3rd strike.
Nice presentation by Russell Martin. Here's David Lowe, his first at bat. He's in Adam Jones' spot. David has made just 1 start. It was last Wednesday against the Yankees, 1 0 for 4. He has been used as a defensive replacement since coming off the DL. Another off-speed pitch hits the corner.
He's not afraid to throw the changeup no matter what the score is. I mean, that's his game. Probably a lot more changeups than curveballs. Has to get ahead with the fastball, but not afraid to throw the change anytime.
Another good one. Orioles down to their final strike. Adam Jones still barking on the bench. David Lowe. Estrada strikes out 3 in a row after the leadoff single, and the ball game is over, and the Blue Jays get the opener in this 3-game series. This will be an interesting final